Welcome, everyone. My name is Sivam Velautham. Welcome to our Open Up show today. We have an amazing guest all the way from Malaysia. But before I bring him to the screen, I want to go through a couple of things with you guys. So, as I said, my name is Sivam Velautham, and I am the president and the founder at Voiceomen 360. So our focus, mission, goal, whatever you can name it, it's the overall the well-being of men and boys. And also we are part of International Men's Day, and International Men's Day has been serving or observing for more than 25 years, 27 years, I would say, and around 95 countries they are doing different activities on a regular basis. So as I said, we have an amazing guest from Malaysia. His name is Benjamin Thain. Before I bring him, I want to go through our disclaimer with you guys. We would like to remind you that Voiceomen 360's mission is always delivered in good faith to promote peaceful harmony. The views and opinions expressed in today's episode are those of our speakers and do not represent Voiceomen 360. Our organization participates in discussion forums to provide inspiration and raise awareness of the challenges face as they work to overcome them. We are not providing medical or therapeutic advice. Should you require such assistance, we recommend you contact a medical professional immediately. If you have questions or concerns about today's episode or any Voiceomen 360 content, please email us at info@voiceomen360.org. And today we have a guest from Malaysia, Benjamin Thain, founder and chief empowerment officer of LVV8, founder of Belonging Soup Kitchen. Is also involved in a few other projects. Uh, I'm going to display a couple of social media handles, contact details, so you can reach out to him, his organization, his team later on. Let's welcome Benjamin. Hey, thank you, Benjamin, for joining.
Hello, hello, how are you? Thank you very much for having me. I'm most humbled to be given this chance to speak to you, right? And to finally
Absolutely.
meet you in person.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a great pleasure to have you in our show because it's always good to hear, always great to see like-minded people, and then your purpose in life and mission, vision, everything. Let's start with. I really want to take a, a deep dive. I have a lot of questions. Let's see whatever we can cover today. Okay. Um,
Okay.
what was the turning point or the midlife crisis in your life?
Well, this is actually, ironically, when I received your message, this is actually a very personal story, right? And it's also the very first time I'm sharing on such a public platform. If you call it a midlife crisis, I would call it a turning point, in my life. And that was about 10 years ago, right? When I was diagnosed with severe clinical depression. And at that time, it felt quite, um, everything was crushing down, right? Um, that particular point, felt like hopelessness and so forth. It was also a point where, when you work so hard in your life, you built everything from your career, um, to providing for a family and stuff like that. And almost overnight, I lost almost everything. Yeah, so uh, it pushed me into some kind of a spiral. Yeah, but at the same time, there's light in all of this, and I can't wait to share more with you about this, because with the losing of almost everything, it also helped me realize the impermanence of everything. Yeah, and to also realize what matters, right? What truly matters.
Um, since you are willing to share those moments, thank you for first of all, thank you for sharing, your personal, you know, the life story with us. That's very important. Like whoever is watching on the other end, they can also relate in some ways. So this way we can understand some part of the life challenges, right? So what kind of mechanism or what kind of hoping system you used to have, to overcome? Did you feel or find out your purpose in life, or how did you come out?
Oh, the purpose in life came much later, right? I mean, initially it was, for myself, the purpose in life was to make a good living, earn lots of money, provide for my family, give them a better quality of life, and so forth, right? And when you asked about the turning point, that brings a whole different purpose to my life altogether. Um, and that was very much the time where um, I was diagnosed, with the clinical depression. And that very one point where I could have ended it, right? I did end it, right? Literally. I'm sorry, not literally, but it was some kind of divine intervention, if you may call it. It led me to to pursuing my journey as a monk, right? Um, it was quite it, it happened so quickly, right? But at the same time, so aptly, yeah. And when I pursued my monkhood, um, that was also the beginning of the ending of my old life and the beginning of my life of purpose. Yeah. It instilled a lot of it. There's a change in mindsets, right? It helped me see things from very different perspectives, various perspectives. Yeah. And slowly it did bring up, like, during my monkhood, I did ask, so what's next for me? What do you have prepared for me? What shall I do? Please show me a sign. And lo and behold, when I came back to Malaysia, um an answer came. And that was the beginning of my work of purpose, if you may, in the form of Alleviate Malaysia.
Absolutely, it's quite. I wouldn't say impressive, but it most, finding your life, the meaningful life. How do you want to take to the next level or the next chapter in your life, right? So from that, I would say the some sort of spiritual came to you, and then you know you walked along, and then you found your way, right? So is there any were there any other hoping mechanism, or any kind of like a you know any other hoping system that you had to overcome, and then to come out from those day-to-day life challenges though?
those challenges. I mean, I totally understand where you're coming from, because to be very frank, there wasn't any, or much, when I was going through that situation, or what I often call it the invisible pain. Um, and it was very much enduring alone, keeping it to myself, and not knowing where to turn to really, until it reached a point where it just became so piled up and overwhelming. Um, and you while I do understand that there are psychiatrists around, psychologists, right? Sometimes it's also about feeling seen, right? Um, and it's something that I was going through as well, feeling seen, and the lack of the yearning to feel like I belong, right? Um, in terms of coping, really, I'm at that very point. I'm actually not the best example, right? Because I was actually thinking of doing the inevitable, right? The unthinkable, yeah. And that's actually not the best of solutions or way out. Um, but what was very timely was a little intervention from the divine. Yeah, and I didn't I didn't share much about this until much later when I'm in a better place. When I'm more recovered, where I realize certain things and so forth. Yeah. Now I'm able to share how I coped after, right? But at that very point, I didn't know where to turn to, right? Um, who to speak to. Yeah. So I was keeping very much to myself.
Well, the reason why I was asking all these questions is for because as you know, of course, you met a lot of people, and then you had experience, from time to time, when you talk to, especially men, we almost isolate ourselves, or we don't want to share too much, the personal matters with other people, right? Even though even if you have some sort of trusted person, it's very hard to open up and then share, right? So
Oh
that's
yes,
why,
totally.
yeah.
Because especially when you've always been the strong one, you're the provider, right? You don't have room to be vulnerable, to break down, because on your shoulders you have family, you have your team, your staff, your mouths to feed, and so forth. There wasn't any room to be vulnerable. Mm.
Absolutely, yeah. That's so much pressure from every part of our society, or anything, even peer pressure and other pressures too. Um, but is there one thing I want to ask before I go to the next question, though? That do you believe right now that was you? Did you have some sort of inner calling, or you always had a question, okay, you know what, what is it, why I'm here, what I'm going to do, or um, what's my purpose of life, or things like that? Did you have those questions?
Yes, I mean, I believe that it's always been there, right? I do have this seed of wanting to do more to help people, right? In fact, before I even started belonging soup kitchen, I've already started a soup kitchen in 2009. It's under a different name, right? And that particular effort is called Born to Matter. That was in 2009, in fact. Um, and there's always this one thing, like to this softness to wanting to help others, to be able to connect and identify another person's suffering, right? Um, it works for and against. me sometimes, right? To have this empathy, if you may, uh, but at the same time, a lot of times I do ask myself, like, how else can I help, right? Um, and of course, when I didn't have the answers. Sometimes when I look at others who are able to help, why aren't they helping? I do question that as well. So then now it's more like, why don't I make myself into someone who is more able to help? Instead of asking, like, why aren't these people helping? Why aren't the billionaires helping more, and so forth, right? So let me be the one to help, to alleviate a person's suffering, to support, to help people feel heard and seen, to be that example instead of expecting externally. I did have those questions. So yes, back, addressing to what you asked, it's always been in me. I just didn't know how, where to execute it, right? So I just gaily, just got on with life. Typically, with my career, building my business, right? Um, yeah, until this rude awakening. Yeah, it shook me up, and it's like, okay, it's time, right? Let's do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So when you think back right now, so you are looking back now those days and then see, everything happened for a reason at that time, and then now I'm here, and then of course in the past number of years you have been helping, serving, whatever you can do, you are doing for other people too, right? So did can you say that what hey, this is my second chance, or I mean, I wouldn't say second chance, but second chapter in my life, that I am, this is what was happening, or what happened for that.
Mm. Um, I would not call it entirely a second chance, but more like this is what I was meant to be,
Right,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
And back then when I wanted to, when I had thoughts of ending it, right? The sign that came was like, it's not your time to leave yet, right? Because you have a mission, right? You still have it in you, right? It's not your time to go, right? So I saw it as that. And back then, even when I was going through a lot of a bout of illnesses and stuff like that, every waking day is already a blessing, right? And it's about seeing things, from the lenses of gratitude. Yeah. And like, oh, okay. Um, Now I need to build myself up. This is my new mission. I don't know where I'm going, right? But as long as I keep it with the pure intent of kindness, right? Kindness to myself, kind to others, right? The intention is always very clear, and I often share with people as well that I don't have all the answers, right? But I'm a student of life, just like yourself, right? I'm still learning, right? I fall, right? I learn, right? And that's how we step up, right? And along the way, when I know a little bit more, I'd like to share,
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks a lot for those, like a powerful message. Of course, at the same time that you are speaking from your own experience, own lived experiences, and also talking from your heart, right? So sharing from your heart. So this is very, very important. So the reason why I was asking, I just want to go just a little bit deeper, is that nowadays, if you can understand, a lot of men, especially, um, they they are not, they don't think they are part of the society. They just don't want to isolate, or they don't find their meaning of life, or things like that, right? It's very hard nowadays. So much pressure, so much things going on around us. But anyway, um So
Riding on this point that you mentioned, you
yeah,
know, it's also what I mentioned earlier, which is the there's this void, there's this need to feel heard and seen, right? And like myself, I represent men from the marginalized communities, and all the more reason, right? We felt like, where do I fit in? Where do I belong? Right? And this is when there's always this yearning to feel seen. And you're very right when you just mentioned this where men actually feel um, I wouldn't call it invisible, but like not really not seen. If
yes,
that
exactly. So they don't they cannot fit into that into the society, or they have their own world, and then uh, they cannot really connect with the world, the reality, right? Because of the so much pressure, so much other things. So that's what I want to bring it. So today you really want to talk to share your experience on those two areas, especially um, influence and impact on society, right? So what are your thoughts on those areas?
Well, of course, the topic of influence and impact on society is something that is also close to my heart. And what I like to share is also influence. It always stems from the intention. We all have the power to influence. Yeah. um I could influence you to do drugs, right? Or I could influence you to be kind. It always starts with the intention, right? So why don't we start with the very pure intention of being kind, of to help, the intention to empower another person, to alleviate their suffering, to make things better in the world, right? Yeah, because we're in a world where it's we're surrounded by influencers, right? And so I do question sometimes, like, so fellow influencers, dear influencers, what exactly are you influencing, right? Yeah, what are you using your voice for? To sell a shampoo, right? Or for greater good, right? And it's ironic, that someone who is trying to influence a positive change in the world, think like an example, a young lady, Greta Thunberg, right? Yeah, she's she's trying, right? Yeah, and yet, this voice is muted at some point, right? And then we have more no names, right? Yeah, who are glamorizing uh, partying, drugs, girls of her same age, yeah, who have that same platform, right? It's like, hoo, this is what I am what I am, right? Yeah. So what are we using our power of influence? We all have that. It depends on to what degree. Yeah. um i I'm I may be a small voice in the world, right? Yeah. um and that does not mean that it's not a voice, right? Because every voice has power, right? Every voice, when you're authentic, when it's with the intention of kind, compassion, right? It has the power to change lives. Yeah. And you really don't know who's listening, your words. Yeah. Yeah, it could be, and you can imagine, how our words have an impact in the future generation. Yeah, our kids, our the people around us, so to speak. Yeah. So how does it impact the society? How does it impact the world? We need to ask ourselves, right? What are we using our voice for, right? And just like, Voice of Men 360, right? You're using this platform, you've created this platform to give voice to people, yeah, to give a shared platform for other men, who have their life stories to share, to feel heard, to feel seen. Yeah. So there is a pure intention, right? Oh,
Absolutely. So it's, in other words, I can say, like, we are product of influences, right? Whether we like it or not, every single second, we are surrounded by so many things. And then nowadays you can name it, social media is a simple thing. And then, of course, people, culture, the environment we belongs to, the peer support, or the people that we work with, so many things, right? Even before we born, we are already influenced. So that's how we are brought up to this world, and then, that's the way we are growing, right? But of course, it's our choice, like what you want to influence, right? Whether you want to, go take the positive and then make a positive impact, to yourself and also to others. Absolutely. Thanks for sharing. What's
yeah. I mean, if you
Go
look
ahead.
at it, sometimes even gossip is an influence, right? Yeah. And what do we use words for? Yeah. Do we use our words to encourage another person? It's like, hey, let's do this. Things will get better, right? Just stand up where you fell. Let's do this together, and to show up, right? Or I could be like, oh, do you know so and so? And then I become a gossip monger, you know, and that's also influencing another person perspective on that person, right? So yeah, using our voice for greater good.
Absolutely. So, when we talk about men, how does this, affect, men, and how can men change their perception on influence, and impact?
Well, there are times where I guess um, we underestimate, the power of the individual, right? Do not underestimate your power, right? I'm sure many of you have heard of the butterfly effect. Yeah. And just that action, the power of your voice, you do it, right? It has an effect on another person, right? It does not need to be perfect, right? I of all people, I know that, I mean, I'm somewhat of a perfectionist, right? It's like, oh, how should I craft this, and say this? Is there a better way, right? Um, but as long as the intent is pure, rooted in kindness, right? Put it out there, be intentional, right? Don't be afraid. Yeah. Yeah, don't be afraid. Um, yeah, as men, as men.
Absolutely, yeah, it's true, very true. Um, so I want to ask you this: what are some significant, challenges that you have heard from those men in your journey so far? Like, let's say, how's your learning experience from them? What do you think of the root causes of their, problem challenges?
Well, I guess a lot of things that kind of stop them from stop my fellow men from reaching out, or even being vulnerable, you know, um, is a sense of responsibility. There's also that fear that if I'm vulnerable, in fact, I've been told this in my life before, right? That um, oh, you're a person of influence, people look up to you, you're a boss, and stuff like that. You cannot be vulnerable. How are people going to look up to you or trust you, right? It came from somebody, you know. And these are things that we often face in our daily lives, the weight of responsibility, yeah, and that sometimes stops us from truly being ourselves, to be authentic, to be vulnerable, yeah. um yeah, so these are things that I do see as challenges faced by men today. um yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you think or believe that there are many Asian men still not ready to come out and seek help, speak about their emotional challenges?
Oh, I mean, Asian men, Asian families, the Asian context of all, that's almost like, a veil of like, you need to be strong, right? And just be the strong one for people, for the family, where the word love, is not often said, right? Yeah, and as even as an Asian man or the head of the family, right? Um, we don't have much room to express that softer side of the world, the softer side of ourselves, of love, of hugging or saying "I love you" to my son, right? Um, and yes, that does affect Asian men in particular, yeah, because solely because of the context in which we grew up in, and that has room to change, right? Because the world does need to celebrate vulnerability, right? I'm not saying to be all whiny and stuff like that, right? Yeah, and wah, 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 I'm vulnerable. No, it's about going inwards and to know that I'm human too, right? I I do feel pain. I do. There are times when I feel like crying, and it's okay, right? Cry if you may, yeah. Cry and then let's stand up again, right? So celebrate this vulnerability, um, and lead. Let's at the same time, be be the example, right? If you say, "Oh, my father was not like this for me, my grandfather was not like this for me," right? We're using all these legacy as issues, right? Then be that change that you like, that you like to see, right? Be that change that you feel that you need, because um let's say if you have children, right? They would like to be that, to see that example in their father, right? Or if you don't have children, people around you, the next generation, the kids, right? They would like to see that change, be that change, right?
Absolutely.
Make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Because instead of pointing your finger to somebody else or find excuses, it's a time to change. The change is supposed to start from you, not from other people.
Mm.
That's must. Um, so, what does open up mean to you when it comes to men?
Open up. Oh, as in like open up, as in this podcast.
Well, this
Okay.
one, and also generally speaking, when it comes to men, especially, what do you actually, how do you see that?
Well, open up. It is, like it's a word that encapsulates a lot of things. It's very loosely said, right? But at the same time, it's very powerful. Like it's very action driven, right? And it's very permissible. Like it's let's open up, let's speak up, right? And it also shows the greater community that you're not alone, right? Yeah. And to me, it's like this. the Voice of Men 360, the Open Up podcast, for me, it was like, it allows us a share of voice, right? It gives us a platform, right? And for us to share our own personal stories, our views, our insights, right? And what's more, right? Yourself being in Canada and myself here in Malaysia, two opposite sides of the world, and yet we're connecting. This is opening up as global, right? And it has an intent. And another thing to me and to men is especially what I find lacking, and open up, it's about celebrating people, right? This is what we don't do enough in the world, celebrating people, right? Instead of looking at that, oh, with an eye of envy, right, or competition or whatsoever, right? If somebody does something good, or you see that he's doing some change, let's celebrate this person, right? Give and give this person, like, the due credit, the due diligence of, like, oh, thank you, say the thank you way and mean it. Yeah. And this is what open up means to me, the way I see it.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you for bringing those, interesting points so people can understand from different aspects, right? And also, I want to quickly ask you before I move on. Do you see some sort of changes in your own neighborhood or in your own circle, like in those Asian men's communities? Let's say in the last number of years, people or especially men, are they started seeking help or any changes you seen?
Definitely over the years, things are slowly changing. We are noticing a lot of things have changed after the COVID pandemic, right? And because in Alleviate, we also work along with men, and especially men from marginalized communities. I'm seeing them reaching out more, right? Feeling comfortable, feeling that, hey, I think I could learn to trust and to reach out. Yeah. I'm seeing more of that. Yeah. And then it allows support providers to help, right? Because they would actually feel like, okay, this is a person I feel that I could trust, yeah, who could help me, and who shared very similar life experiences, um, um, who understands me. Yeah. Yes, this is some of the changes that I noticed amongst the community. Yeah, and I'm glad that they're slowly reaching out. Yeah. And don't be alone. You don't sorry, you don't need to be alone. Yeah, help is around.
Absolutely, yeah. Because otherwise, you isolate yourself or you cut down your all social circles if you come across with any sort of a situation, life challenges, and then um, it'll take to a different path. So that's we don't want to see that, right? I mean, especially negative path. Let's talk about father and son relationship, Benjamin. Can you share some memories about your father, the happy moments he shared, the things that you learned from him, influence, inspired you?
I mean, in all being authentic and personal on this platform, I didn't have much memories with my father, right? Because he's always been the provider in the family, who's always out, be it in another state or a country, trying to provide for the family, right? So I will not have much to share on this. That having said, however, it also let me, um, it instilled in me this. That's why there's always that part of me that's always seeking a mentor, right? Seeking someone who knows better to guide me, to to share words of wisdom, um, and if on this question that you share, that you're asking, I would see it as, if there's anything, it actually instilled in me this wanting to learn, right? Um, this seeker of answers, and for a person who's always looking for a mentor, I I decided to turn things around, right? To be the mentor, right? To be the example that I needed. And this is the same thing that I like to share with men out there, right? Be the example that you like to see in the world. Be the example that you needed. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, in other words, you can say like a man figure is very important. It's critical in everybody's man figure, or the male figure is very important. Some people say father figure, of course. In some cases, you know, um, we won't have a father figure in our lives, but at least some sort of positive male figure, or man figure should be in your life. It can be a teacher, it can be uncle or somebody else, right? So at least there's a guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, can you share what influenced, inspired you to start LEV8 Malaysia? What is it about?
Yeah, it's, the name itself, it's already a little tongue twister, and
Yeah.
then people often and people often ask me, well, is it left eight, elevate, and stuff like that. It serves as a very good icebreaker, right? And to be frank, the name, uh, it stemmed from the core purpose, of why I wanted to do this, right? Which is to alleviate lives, to alleviate the suffering of another person, right? And this abbreviated version came to me in a dream, right? LEV8, right? Funny, I know. It's probably me being trying to be creative, right? Alleviate, yeah. So yeah, and it started in my journey as an advocate, an activist, started in 2019. Yeah. And slowly we charted paths of little milestones. Oh yeah, thank you very much for sharing the screen. So there have been little milestones, my journey as an activist and an advocate, uh, slowly grew, and Alleviate started in 2020 itself. Yeah. Very, very simple, core purpose, just to see how we can alleviate the suffering of others. It, of course, it started very much on HIV prevention, HIV response. Slowly, it kind of grew. We kind of grew into addiction recovery. We grew into providing mental health support for men, and then leading to the alleviate. Sorry, the belonging soup kitchen. Yeah. And belonging, our physical center itself, was opened in 2004, right? A safer space, right? So it's 360, it's integrated, it's about addressing, it's listening to what the people need, right? And providing, yeah, a space where people can feel that they belong. So hence, from Alleviate, the organization itself, we're a grassroots organization, by the way, right? To the physical center, which I call belonging. Yeah, yeah. So these are like bits of. Thank you very much for flashing out as well. This is a little report card of Alleviate as a grassroots organization. We are community based. We are peer led. These are some of our the works that we have done in a short span of since opening up belonging. Yeah, you would also see little some pictures of how our humble center looks like. Yeah, it's situated in a suburb. Yes, and Alleviate is all about knowledge-based programs. It's always about sharing. It's imparting knowledge, because I'm a firm believer that knowledge is the way out of ignorance, because ignorance is what instills fear, instills discrimination, right? So knowledge is the way out. Hence, over the years, we've been doing a lot of sharing. This is something that's quite impactful in my journey as an advocate, because I've designed a program called Beyond 66. And this program, is in fact, is um, a recovery based program to help people who are dependent on substance, drugs, meth in particular, chemsex in particular as well. Yeah, so it's a relatively easy and very tailored program that adopts mindfulness therapy. It adopts, mindset and habit reforming. Yeah, so I'm very thankful that my friend in London, he helped me, Professor Richardson. He helped me get my work being getting published in the International Journal of STD and AIDS. This was a huge milestone for my journey as um, an advocate, right? My work of purpose. Yeah, and hopefully with this, we would be able to extend help to a greater audience. Over here, you would see we're all about building communities. It's all about bringing people together, eh, for the marginalized, for the underserved, right? We pull together events that where we build kinship. We would like to bring people together for a greater purpose, right? Where they could feel empowered, where they can feel heard as well. So various events, various programs, regular gatherings, and so forth in belonging. Yeah. Um, we we go all out with our awareness as well, right? So we try as much as possible whenever there are any platforms that allow us to share about our mission, why we do this, and what to offer support, and to also point people where they can go to, right? So we did some awareness drives. This three awareness drives that we did was in the year 2024 alone, right? With reaching that number of eyeballs. So, oh, and I also noticed that Voices of Men 360, you do touch on mental health for quite a fair bit, right? So on over here, mental health, as how we started today's interview and podcast was very much about my own mental health, right? So it's something close to my heart. So we've also started a little program, you know to to share more about mental health, to help people understand. These are some slides on belonging, our physical center. It's very much like a home. It's about like coming home. It doesn't feel like you're stepping into a clinic or whatsoever. Yeah. And whenever my friends in recovery, when people come for testing, it feels like they're stepping in and looking for a friend. Yeah, this is our panel of our mental health specialists. We do have clinical psychologists and counselors. We are offering counselors who speak in Mandarin for our Mandarin speaking uh, friends. And then we also have someone who can speak in English and Tamil, right, for our Tamil speaking friends.
A lot of things I can see. Of course, we cannot show everything, but at least
Mm.
we had a lot of slides so people can see it what's going on. The awareness or the impact actually you are making, in your community or around your community is very important, very important, especially nowadays. Of course. Um, what kind of feedback and changes did you hear or see from the public after you gone through these such shows? Those programs.
Well, what I often hear from people who come to belonging is um, they would tell me that they feel heard, they feel seen. There's a place for them to open up, to talk without feeling judged or discriminated for being a member of the LGBTQI, or not being judged for being someone who have been battling with substance addiction, or be shamed, for having mental illness, right? So I do often hear them sharing with me that finally they feel heard or seen. And from one particular friend in recovery. You see, I don't call them addicts or my patients. I call them my friends in recovery. And from one of my friends in recovery, the change I actually heard from him say is, I love my life now, right? And that's a very big thing, for someone who was trying to fight for um, to feel belong, to wanting to feel love, right? And for someone who initially thought he would find comfort in chemsex, in substance use, yeah, and for him to finally step out and say, I love my life now. That meant a world, to hear, and it makes all this work worth it. And another change that I would hear from, in fact, the family, right? Um, they would actually, I uh, a father actually told me that you didn't just save my son, you saved my family. Yeah. Well, I feel that, you know the showing up, the doing the work, right, was my only intent, to just show up to do the work. The byproduct, I guess, is, saving a person, at that very moment where he needed help, where he just needed someone who shows up when he says he will. And that's very important, actually. Yeah. I mean, we don't use this very loosely. It's like, oh, I'll be there for you, right? Yeah. Show up, mean it, be authentic. Yeah. And when you do that without expectations, willingly, wholeheartedly, these are all the byproducts. Positive change happens. You really don't know how much you can impact, how much of an impact you would have in another person's life, right? Which is, if we reel it back to power of influence, we always have a choice what we want to influence. I could influence you to do bad. I could influence you to do drugs, right? Or I could influence you to be kind. I could influence you to be a man who shows up and not just say all talk, no action, right? And this little bit by little bit, we influence, we impact a person. Yeah.
I want to connect some dots here because remember in our earlier beginning of our conversation, I asked you some personal questions and the turning point. So when you go back and then looking back this life right now, and then the feedback that you have received from those people, not only one life, multiple lives, of course, people you met, you made some impacts, you saved some lives, not only just one person, the whole family, things like that. And then the time that you lost everything, and then you don't have anything in front of you, and then you had a big question, how I'm going to come out from this situation, right? So looking back to those situation, and then now, after a couple of years, and then you have built some organization and then helping a lot of peoples, right? So it's a big journey, right? And then also, as you said, the influence, how do you want to do it, right? What do you want to do it, because you don't want to waste your time or life. You are belonging to this earth, this universe, and then you really want to give something, you want to support, you want to make a positive impact, right? That's your footprint, right? um, I'm glad that you know we talked about this one, and also people could see the slides, the company's progresses and everything. So from starting to at least some sort of elevating in a couple of years, you achieved a couple of things, and then you have a big team now. And then not only it's a chain reaction end of the day, right? So you start somewhere. It's I'm pretty sure I can. I'm very confident that some people somewhere from somewhere they can connect with your dots, and then they can learn from that too. I just want to take a quick minute for a couple of announcements, and then I will bring you back to the screen. Okay. Um, so, friends, you are listening to our Open Up live podcast on Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we do have a Tamil live talk show on Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And then monthly men's meeting only for men by men, second Saturday of every, sorry, the second Saturday of every month from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Through Zoom. No recordings. You can join through our Zoom. The link is available on our Facebook page and group. There are no limitations on gender, age, nationality, or ethnicity. People from all walks of life can participate in any of our shows. If you like to be a guest on any of our shows, or interested in joining our organizations to help us directly or indirectly, please reach out to us. We would love to work with individuals, professionals, experts, community organizations, associations, corporations, government officials, and businesses. Phone number is 226-289-8784. Email address info@voiceomen360.org. A website www.voiceomen360.org. And social media, Facebook group and page we have. Please join our group so you can see our daily activities. Please invite your friends as well. Other social media platforms are Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, VoiceOmen 360. We want to reach out to more people and help more. Please continue your support. Coming back to you, Ben, uh, what? Why did you start belonging soup kitchen, and how are you helping those homeless people? Can you explain?
Well, belonging soup kitchen is also riding on my other charity, which is Born to Matter, right? So Born to Matter is about providing water stations for the homeless and the underserved, and for senior citizens in welfare. So Belonging Soup Kitchen has a slightly different direction in which it's about building kinship with purpose. Because again, my the people whom we serve, in Alleviate, it's very much people from the marginalized community, from the LGBTQI and so forth, people who seek a place where they could belong. Hence, it's providing a platform that builds kinship and with purpose, the purpose of giving back to be able to help another. It's also a platform in which we get to practice mindfulness. We share and teach them about how we can be a little bit more mindful to another person. Um, and just recently, we've found a new spot in which there are a few homeless ladies, right? So I thought, okay, let's be mindful. Apart from food, what else do they need? Oh, okay, sanitary pads, right? It's inevitable, the monthly cycle, right? And sanitary pads cost money, right? So why don't we provide that? Right? So it's thinking to be mindful, and we hope to have this platform to foster this kinship, right? Where people feel like, oh, um, it allows me to help another person. And for the homeless person, it's it's also to help them, to give hope, to help them feel seen, like, someone actually cares, right? Someone who consistently shows up, someone who listens to my needs. Yeah. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons for belonging soup kitchen. Hopefully, I look forward to us serving more people, and growing outside of Greater Kuala Lumpur, and to many other states, and hopefully, um, all to the listeners and anyone in any country, you could also start your own belonging soup kitchen.
Absolutely. So it's a, like I said earlier, it's a chain reaction. So it shouldn't. You don't have to wait for somebody else to say it. At least some people, they may need some sort of push. Hey, you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. Some people, they can just hear, or some people, they see a sign, or they see some sort of opportunity, and they do it. But sometimes we need more push, especially human beings, right? Absolutely. Thank you for the encouragement. What do you want to achieve, Ben, in 2026, or in life in general?
Well, it's funny because I like to ride on what you just mentioned earlier. It's about just doing it and not just talking about it, right? Because, you hear me talk about the intent, the influence, the power of our voice, right? And let's make, and this is one of the things that, one of the movements that I've started a couple of years ago, right? Which is to make kindness a habit. Yeah. So if you look up hashtag make kindness a habit, right, we got to start somewhere. Make it a habit, right? um Little things, make it a daily habit. So of course, with hope that this movement will go into something greater. Other people in the world would feel inspired to make kindness a habit. Start somewhere, just do it. In whatever capacity you can. Yeah. And in terms of Alleviate, what we hope to achieve is we've already set the groundwork, the foundation, the roots are there. right? Now, I would hope to see alleviate and all our work, our the mission grow globally, so that we be able to assist, support, empower other people in the whole world, yeah, with the tools that we have. Right now we're in the modern age where everything is so connected. We do have our hybrid programs for our mental health support, our addiction recovery program, right? um, yeah, let's work together, and I hope that we be able to grow on a greater scale. Yeah. And yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for the that's a big message, a big vision. I'm pretty sure you will get a lot of when you share those kind of like I would say affirmation or the message. Of course, the universe can hear, listen to you, and then of course you'll receive the return. We don't know the time frame, but you will receive the return though. Um, it's like a lot of people, they scare, or they may have some sort of fear. Okay, you know what? Only if I have money, or only if I have a right team, right people, right time, I can start. The only thing is, as Ben said, the intention is first. Then you just have a thought, or hey, I can do this. I really want to do this, and then slowly that wave or that momentum can build up, and then create opportunities, brings more opportunities too. So you never know, right? You will meet people, new opportunities, more doors will open. You don't know. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
definitely. I mean, like, with what you mentioned is so spot on because, we in the beginning of this story, the sharing of my story, I pretty much started with nothing in my work of purpose, right? And it's about showing up and doing whatever it takes. Up to now, even as a grassroots organization, we are. It's a project that's entirely self-funded. It's mostly self-funded, and it depends on volunteers, right? And there are times where we don't wait till like, until I have money, then I'll start donating, or until I have this and that, then only I'll start somewhere. You got to start somewhere and do whatever it takes. Be that person who always shows up. And most importantly is also to have that belief, the belief that the one up there has got your back, right? And I in some weird way, I believe, and it's been a good 6 years now, right, of doing this. We're still very low in our funds, right? But you get to see the amount of work that we've done over the years. We do whatever it takes, yeah, because it- pe- people who need help, they're not waiting for when you become richer, when you're more able to help, right? We help at whenever we can, yeah. And we do whatever it takes. So that's I guess one of the DNAs of alleviate, uh, and to always put people first, yeah. So that what you mentioned earlier was exactly it. Don't just wait till you become you have all these then only you're able to provide, to give and to do. Let's start somewhere. Yeah.
Absolutely. Just let's leave with a message. What message do you want to share with those men out there who are facing life challenges, Ben?
Well, I've walked that path, right? So now I'm able to share with you that you do not need to go through this alone. Yeah, you do not need to be alone. It will get better. Take it one day at a time. Yeah, slowly, allow time to heal, time to build up your our faith in life. Um, and to trust again. Yeah, take it one day at a time. It will get better.
Absolutely. So it's being open for any opportunities you come across, because when you think you really want to change, you attract positive, some sort of positive opportunity, and then you gather, or you just grab that opportunity and then go from there, instead of waiting for somebody else, and then because if you want to really make a change, you had to start somewhere, right? So I already shared those contact information. People who are watching on the other side, Facebook and YouTube channel, and also the email ID, and also the contact, the number. You can see that. So please contact his organization. Of course, I'm pretty sure you want to reach out to him, reach out to his organization. And want to know more about his organization, their works. Even though we shared a couple of slides, but it's good to contact them, reach out to them, and then ask for, even if you don't know, whenever the situation comes in, your friend or the people you belong to, the environment, the group that you belong to, you never know, right? So it's good, always good to know what's out there, what kind of help, what kind of services out there. So again, I really want to thank Ben, also our good friend Mauricio, so for this connection, because he actually introduced Ben. So thank you, Mauricio. Um, Again, with the last one request to everybody. Of course, you guys were watching for a long time, but you taking these all messages in your heart, and then think about at the same time you really want to share with other people. So this way, at least the people who are coming to our podcast and then sharing their life experiences can make a huge impact on other people. And also, we want to reach out to more people. So please share with other people so we can serve, reach more people. Though. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Ben. We can see you next time too. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm most grateful for this platform. Thank you very much for your time, Sivam, and the whole team in Voice of Man 360.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. And then good luck. Best of luck for your the whole team called organization. Wish you happy New Year, guys. Though. Thank you.